Hello, everyone. Today, I'm going to share and analyze a super emotional chapter in the love story of Jack and Tu Tien, a tale filled with drama and deep meaning about love, compassion, and overcoming adversity. If you enjoy romantic and heartfelt stories, don't forget to like and subscribe so you won't miss out. The golden afternoon sunlight filtered through the leaves, casting a warm glow over Tu Tien's small farm. Inside the simple wooden house, Tu Tien lay curled up on an old bed, a thin blanket insufficient to ward off the chill in her body despite the gentle weather outside. She had just endured 2 days of high fever, her body frail, her eyes weary, yet her mind drifted to distant memories. The image of her father, a kind man with a warm smile, surfaced vividly. He used to hold her close, telling stories of vast rice fields before vanishing from her life like a gust of wind. Tu Tien clutched the corner of the blanket, silent tears rolling down her pale cheeks. "Father, where are you?" she whispered, her voice soft, as if the question could ride the sunlight to find an answer. The sound of a motorcycle roared in the yard, shattering the stillness. Tu Tien stirred, trying to sit up, but her head spun. The wooden door swung open, and Jack stepped in, carrying a large bag, his white shirt slightly crumpled from the long journey from the city to the village. His eyes lit up with a mix of worry and tenderness upon seeing Tu Tien. "Tien, how are you? I heard from the neighbors you've been feverish for days and refused to see a doctor." His voice was a blend of reproach and care as he hurried to her bedside, setting the bag on the wooden table. Tu Tien smiled, a weak but warm smile. "I'm fine, Jack. Just a slight cold." Her voice trembled, unable to hide her exhaustion. Jack shook his head, sitting on the edge of the bed, his hand gently brushing her forehead. His warm touch contrasted with the cold enveloping her. "This is fine. You're so stubborn, I'll get mad," he said, but his eyes were soft, as if wanting to embrace her pain. Jack stood, rummaging through the bag he'd brought. "I got you some nutritious stuff. You need to eat properly to recover." He pulled out a jar of pre-cooked bird's nest, some vitamin bottles, fresh fruits, red apples and sweet oranges, and a warm bottle of honey water. Tu Tien watched him, her heart swelling with an indescribable warmth. No one had cared for her like this since her father disappeared. Through the years of enduring her abusive ex-husband's cruelty, she'd grown used to picking herself up after every fall. But now, Jack was here, like a ray of sunlight warming her heart. "Jack, you're so busy, why did you come all the way here?" Tu Tien asked softly, her voice tinged with guilt. Jack smiled, carefully opening the jar of bird's nest with a small spoon. The fragrant aroma filled the humble room. "Busy or not, how could I not come when you're like this? You're the most important person to me." His voice was deep and sincere, his eyes locking onto hers. Tu Tien's cheeks flushed with emotion, her heart soothed by his care. Jack scooped a spoonful of bird's nest, blowing on it to cool it before bringing it to her lips. "Come on, open up, eat a little to regain your strength." Tu Tien hesitated, about to refuse, but Jack's gentle gaze melted her resolve. She parted her lips, the delicate flavor spreading like his kindness. Jack smiled, patiently feeding her another spoonful, his movements slow and careful, as if afraid to discomfort her. "See, eat well, and you'll recover quickly. I won't let you neglect yourself anymore," he teased, but his eyes brimmed with affection. Tu Tien looked at Jack, a pang of longing for her father rising within her. Her voice quivered as she spoke. "Jack, I miss my father. I don't know if he's alive or I just want to see him once, to say I'm sorry for losing him." Tears fell again, glistening in the sunlight streaming through the window. Jack set the jar down, his heart aching at her pain. He gently pulled her into his arms, his strong embrace enveloping her frail shoulders. "Tien, don't blame yourself. It's not your fault. I believe your father is out there somewhere, and he'd be so proud of his strong daughter." His voice was warm, like a promise, a steady anchor. Tu Tien leaned into Jack's chest, feeling his warmth ease her pain. Her tears soaked into his shirt, but Jack didn't loosen his hold. He gently stroked her hair, whispering, "You're not alone, Tien. I'm here, and I'll help you find your father. No matter how hard it is, I won't let you face this pain alone." His words were like a breeze clearing the fog in her heart. Tu Tien nodded softly, the safety Jack brought making her wish this moment could last forever. After a while, as Tu Tien calmed, Jack gently helped her lie back down. He pulled the blanket over her, carefully adjusting the pillow for her comfort. "Rest now, don't overthink. I'm leaving the food and medicine here, take the vitamins on time, okay? If you need anything, call me, and I'll come right back." His voice was soft but firm. Tu Tien looked at him, her eyes filled with gratitude. "Thank you, Jack. You're too good to me. I don't know how to repay you." Jack chuckled, ruffling her hair reassuringly. "Repay? Just get better, that's enough for me." Jack stood, checking the room before leaving. He placed the honey water bottle within her reach. At the door, he turned back, smiling. "Sleep well, little girl. I'll be back soon." Tu Tien nodded, but as he turned away, an emptiness settled in her heart. She sat up, gazing out the window as Jack's figure on the motorcycle faded into the distance. The sunlight bathed the dirt road, but in Tu Tien's heart, Jack's presence shone brighter. She smiled quietly, whispering, "Jack, thank you for being my light." Jack left the farm, still worried about Tu Tien. He knew work at the herbal medicine company awaited meetings with high-end partners couldn't be delayed. But in his mind, Tu Tien's frail form and the soft look in her eyes when she spoke of her father made him want to turn back. He gripped the handlebars, vowing to himself, "Tien, I'll do everything to make you happy. Not just today, but forever." The gentle morning sunlight bathed the red dirt road leading into the village, where Tu Tien walked with hurried but determined steps. In her heart burned a fierce flame, a longing to find her father, who had vanished when she was just a child. The old phone in her hand displayed the only photo she had of him, a gaunt man with a kind smile, standing beside a lush green rice field. It was her most precious memory, and now, it was the only clue guiding her toward the hope of reunion. Tu Tien had traveled through dozens of villages, questioning every passerby along the way. She showed the photo on her phone to an elderly farmer resting under a tree. "Uncle, have you ever seen this man?" she asked, her voice trembling, her eyes brimming with hope. The farmer squinted at the image, then shook his head. Tu Tien sighed softly, thanked him, and pressed on. She crossed fields and small streams, stopping to ask street vendors and old folks sitting on their porches. Each shake of the head felt like a knife to her heart, but she refused to give up. "Father, I'll find you," she whispered, as if to fuel her own resolve. Finally, as the sun climbed higher, Tu Tien paused at a small tea stall at the village's edge. An old woman selling tea glanced at the photo on her phone and suddenly exclaimed, "Oh, he looks familiar. He often sits at the tea stall at the other end of the village, near the big banyan tree. Follow this road straight for about 10 minutes, and you'll get there." Tu Tien gripped the woman's hand, tears welling up. Thank you so much," she said, her voice choked with emotion. Her heart pounded with a mix of joy and anxiety. Could it really be her father? After all these years, would he recognize her? Tu Tien hurried along the path, her worn sandals skimming the dirt road. The large banyan tree came into view, next to a small tea stall with a few old plastic chairs. Under the tree's shade, a gaunt man sat, staring absently toward the fields. Tu Tien froze. His figure, his face, it was just like the man in the photo. "Father," she whispered, tears streaming down her face. She wanted to run to him, to throw her arms around him, but her feet felt rooted to the ground. A strange mix of joy and doubt surged within her. She stood still, took a deep breath, and decided to approach. But at that moment, a black motorcycle pulled up in front of the stall. Two men in dark clothing and sunglasses stepped off. Tu Tien hesitated, an uneasy feeling prompting her to slip behind a nearby bush. The men marched straight to the man, their voices low and menacing. "Tam, what's taking you so long? We told you to spy on Tu Tien and get information on Jack. Why haven't you reported anything?" Tu Tien's heart stopped. She covered her mouth to stifle a sob. A spy, watching her and Jack. This man wasn't her father. The man, Mr. Tam, looked up, his eyes filled with anguish. I can't do it. That girl is innocent. I don't want to hurt her or Jack. You took my daughter. I only did this to save her. But I can't keep going. His voice trembled with despair. One of the men sneered, jabbing a finger at Tam's face. "Don't play games. If you don't do it, your daughter will never be freed. And Jack and Tu Tien, they'll lose everything, and you'll be the one to blame." Hidden behind the bush, Tu Tien's body shook. The truth stabbed her heart like a dagger. The man she thought was her father was merely a pawn in a sinister plot. Jack, the man she loved, was a target. She felt suffocated, tears falling uncontrollably. Then, one of the men pulled out a phone, dialed, and said, "Hong, everything's still on track. Tam's getting uncooperative, but we'll handle it. Jack and Tu Tien will be finished soon." Tu Tien froze. Hong, Jack's former secretary, the woman who loved Jack but was rejected. It was all Hong's doing, a vengeful scheme woven from jealousy and selfishness. Tu Tien couldn't take it anymore. Her trembling hands fumbled with her phone as she dialed Jack's number. "Jack, please pick up," she whispered, tears blurring the screen. But at his house, Jack was drying his hair, the loud hum of the hairdryer drowning out the phone's ring. He hummed carelessly, unaware of Tu Tien's panic. She called again and again, but no one answered. Despair washed over her, as if the world were crumbling. Just then, a twig snapped under her foot with a sharp crack. The small sound was enough to make the men whip around. "Who's there?" one barked, striding toward the bush. Tu Tien's heart raced. Without thinking, she sprang up and ran. "Get her!" the other shouted, and both men gave chase. Tu Tien sprinted down the dirt road, her breath ragged, tears mixing with sweat. She didn't dare look back, only ran, desperate to escape the horrifying truth she'd uncovered. The path led her through a rice field, where green stalks swayed in the breeze. But the once peaceful scene now felt menacing. Tu Tien tripped, her knee slamming into the ground, pain shooting through her. She struggled to her feet, but the men's footsteps grew closer. "Stop, you little brat!" one roared. Tu Tien gritted her teeth, stumbling forward, silently pleading, "Jack, where are you? Please save me." She darted into a narrow alley, where tall bamboo blocked the sunlight. Tu Tien hid behind a bamboo clump, holding her breath. The men stopped, scanning the area. "She can't have gone far. Search thoroughly," one said coldly. Tu Tien clutched her phone, hands shaking. She wanted to call Jack again but feared the ringtone would give her away. All she could do was pray for a miracle, hoping Jack would somehow sense her fear. Meanwhile, at home, Jack finally turned off the hairdryer. He glanced at his phone and saw a string of missed calls from Tu Tien. His chest tightened. "Tien, what's wrong?" He quickly called back, but Tu Tien didn't answer. She was hiding, too afraid to move. Unease gripped Jack. He grabbed his jacket and keys. "Tien, where are you?" "I'm coming," he muttered, rushing out, unaware that Tu Tien was facing the greatest danger of her life. Tu Tien crouched behind the bamboo, hearing the men's footsteps fade. She exhaled shakily, but fear still choked her. The truth about the man posing as her father, Hong's plot, the threat to Jack, it was a nightmare. She buried her face in her hands, tears streaming. "Father, what do I do? I can't lose Jack," she whispered, her voice lost in the wind. But in that moment of despair, she recalled Jack's words, "You're not alone, Tien. I'll always be here." She clenched her fists, wiped her tears, and told herself, "I have to be strong. For Jack, for myself." Cautiously, she stood, scanning her surroundings to ensure the men were gone. The alley led to another path where she could find safety and contact Jack. But questions swirled in her mind. Who was that man? Where was his daughter being held? And Hong, the mastermind, what else would she do to destroy her and Jack's happiness? Tu Tien walked on, each step a vow. She wouldn't let this scheme succeed. She would protect Jack, their love, and one day, she would find her real father.